Welcome to Lucky Episode 13 of the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Northwest Arkansas podcast series. The series is part of our celebration of 25 years of service in the area. I'm your host, Jen Yonda. Back in March, it felt like the world came to a grinding halt when the COVID-19 pandemic hit our region. Kids were sent home from school, businesses closed, people started working from home. 4 months later, what we call normal has changed for us. And while it felt like the world stopped, kids still needed their mentor. They still needed to make that connection in their lives. And the role of their big brother or big sister became more important than ever. Unfortunately, our ability to serve littles was also hit. Today, we're going to talk about the Siloam Springs Stronger Together fundraising campaign. We have some great guests with us today. We've got Siloam Springs Advisory Council members Randy Torres and Mark McCain. We talked to big sister Megan and her little sister Leanne, and our program, Siloam Springs program director, Caitlin Coon. We're going to talk about why this program is so important in Siloam Springs and why your help is so desperately needed at this time.
You know, this pandemic is having effect across the nation. You know, we could talk for several hours on the effects of COVID-19, but the facts are that communities across our nation and across our world are having, they're experiencing rippling effects of being in isolation, having economic issues, loss of jobs, health issues, and this is something that is affecting people both personally and professionally, both in communities and large cities and in their work environments, and it's got a pretty major effect. I think that you would say both profit and nonprofit are having an impact, but the nonprofits I think have an exception to this, an exceptional impact because they too employ people. But they also provide a service to communities that is really being hurt right now. And this is a time where our communities are hurting, and they need the public service nonprofits to really truly rally. So we've had to change the way that we communicate as a Big Brother Big Sister program. The Big Brothers and Big Sisters, we're mentors. We have a lot of bigs in our community that get to rally around our littles. And we've had to change the way that we do it. Social distancing has caused some issues with that communication. We're doing things like what we're doing right now through Zoom. Mm-hmm. And so we've had to find new ways and new tools, learn new skills. The need of mentorship is still truly a major issue, especially in trying times like this. But we've also had to reduce staff. So it's been the economic effects are real across our nation, and they impact the nonprofits, and they've impacted our community in our program in Siloam Springs. But I tell you, the impact of the need is still so much larger than what we could even imagine. And so we have a program with over 100 kids that are sitting here, some being mentored today, but we have about 30 waiting, just waiting for us to be able to rally around them. And that need is still great. And I think we have a program that could service over 200 children in our community. We're a community of 18,000 people, but our program actually serves even some of those in the rural area. So we're over 20,000 population. 200 kids is not a stretch for the need. And in the best times, being a mentor is a real need. In the trying times like this, it's not just a need; it's a must.
Absolutely.
We really need really stabling voices in our children's lives. There are people that have lost their jobs. There are people that have lost family members, and the largest impact and the lasting impact can be around our children. But we need somebody to stand in their corner, and that's really what Big Brothers Big Sisters is all about. Is having somebody defend their potential, stand in their corner for them, be a stabling voice, be a calming voice in the midst of this storm. And so that's a real need. And we've been impacted by the economic issues. Long term, we are having issues with trying to ensure that we are able to sustain a program here in Siloam. We need to fund what we do. To get to 100 children plus, it takes people and tools and staff and marketing and You have to engage with this community. And so our May Crawfish Boil has been our largest fundraiser every year, and it's been very successful, and the community has truly embraced it. But because of, May is in the middle of that pandemic, because of that, we've had to cancel that. We hope to have a celebration in the back half of the year in the fall, but the fact is that we've had to cancel our largest fundraising event, and it's impacting our ability to engage mentorship in our community.
Randy, talk about that. Talk about our Crawfish Boil and what that meant for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah, as Mark mentioned, it has had a big impact on our ability to generate revenue for, of course, a lot of nonprofits in our community, but specifically Big Brothers and Big Sisters, because last year we were actually able to raise $12,000 in our Crawfish Boil. And it's important to note that every dollar that we raised here in Siloam Springs actually stayed in Siloam Springs to support the mentorship of the youth in our community.
And we had so much fun at that Crawfish Boil last year. I sat next to you, and you actually taught me how to eat a crawfish.
Well, you can't graduate from a university in Texas without being able to do that. So it was just one of those courses that you just had to take. So I was glad that I finally got to push the value of that course to someone else.
Well, I know we all had a really good time at that. So, Mark, how much are we hoping to raise with our Siloam Stronger Together fundraiser?
Jennifer, over a given year in Siloam Springs, we usually raise around $24,000 to $25,000. The Crawfish Boil would normally raise close to $15,000 to $18,000 of that total. Off of this particular fundraiser, we're hoping to get $10,000. It's not a big stretch. It's significantly below what we'd normally raise, but it is a number that I think we can keep the program stable and sustainable, and it would be just a tremendous help in order to continue so that we can see our way through this pandemic.
Now, Randy, you were kind of the party person last year at the Crawfish Boil. You hosted the auction and just really led us in a good time. And Mark had mentioned we're hoping to throw some sort of event later, right? Like your donation now, let's celebrate later. What do you think that's going to look like?
Yeah, in order for us to stay engaged with our kiddos, we need a donation now, and we will plan to throw a celebration later when it's safe to do that. And hopefully it'll be another Crawfish Bowl, even though, couldn't be a Crawfish Bowl because they'll be out of season. But, we've thrown some ideas around, like a hot wing cook-off and some other ideas. I want to throw all the ideas out there because somebody listening may steal them. So we're not going to do that. But last year, as you said, it was fun. We had over 150 people that showed up with a heart for mentorship, and they left with lasting memories of a great time and knowing that they helped out with a great cause. Yeah, so in the meantime, if people will donate $50 or more, they will receive a free Siloam Strong Together t-shirt that was designed here in Siloam Springs by TC Screen Printing, so we appreciate them doing that. And hopefully those t-shirts can be worn soon at a fun event while the weather's still warm.
That's perfect. And now, Mark, you had mentioned about 30 kids on the wait list, and we have had to make some staff reductions, unfortunately. And then also, just this week, we've also put a pause on accepting new little brothers into our program. Mm-hmm. Not only have donations been down, but volunteers have been down. So we've put the pause on that to hopefully get the kids who are already on our wait list, over 15 boys in Siloam Springs, matched without dragging out that wait list for them, because we know how vitally important it is that they get a mentor in their corner. Randy, how can people donate?
Oh, sure. There's a number of ways that people can give. You can text Siloam to 44321. Or by visiting our website at www.bigbrothersbigsistersnwa.org. That's BBBSNWA.org. Or even by giving through your donor-advised funds.
Perfect. Why is it important to donate now and not, say, at the end of the year?
Well, it's important for people to donate now because the need is great now, and it's only continuing to grow in our community. You know, we have very young citizens in our community that will eventually be adults in our community. How will we invest in the lives of the ones that are the most impressionable? Mentorship is the most effective way to not only influence the lives of our children, but the future of our community for the better. And so the sooner the better, right? So we need to continue to, fund and invest that effort. You know, everyone needs someone to look up to, and that's where we come in. We bridge that need, especially now more than ever. This time of uncertainty and separation may not end anytime soon, as Mark said earlier. So we're just asking people to please support the little ones who are now at home wondering if their someday will be today.
Perfect. Thank you, Randy. Mark, did I miss anything?
No, I think that's great. I think we're going to see a real response from our community. I can tell you that I know that my experience here in Siloam is that this is a community that rallies around each other. It's a community that serves each other. It's neighbor serving neighbor. Right. And I know that that the people of Siloam Springs and the people of Northwest Arkansas are they're people that understand that our children are vitally important to our future. And I know that they will invest, and that's what this program does. It invests into the children. And I know that every dollar we receive goes into this program. It goes into the program to serve our community. And so that's what we're asking the community is to help us to continue to sustain this vital program that can truly put a child on a different path, a positive path. Mm-hmm. When a child is on the edge, there are paths that these children can go. And I think it's up to us as leaders in our community, as family members, as adults, to stand in their corner and ensure that we can point them to the light, to a better path.
Megan Dottie joining us now, big sister to Leanne. Tell me about your little sister.
Oh, my little sister, Leanne. So we matched back in, I think it was mid-February, right before all this Corona stuff. And she is a chatty Cathy, which I love that. And I know a lot of people don't because they're like, oh my goodness, like they never quit talking. No, I just want to sit and listen to what she has to say. When I would go visit her at school and we had our 55 minutes to an hour, like she would talk the entire time. And I would just sit there and listen. And she's very, like I said, she's very outgoing. She's artistic. One thing we have in common, we don't like math. So she would complain about her math homework. And I was like, you just got to stick with it and do it. And she just is very outgoing, creative mind, just boggles my mind what she does.
And because of coronavirus, you guys had to stop seeing each other when schools closed. But how did you guys overcome that?
So, like I said, we got matched mid-February. So it was maybe week 4 after Corona started. And I told her, I was like, I'll see you soon. Like, if anything happens, like, I'm just here for you. And then Paige kind of did the rundown of what happened. And we were kind of blown away because I'm site-based. So I only get to go during school. I didn't get to do, I think I wrote her 2 or 3 letters, and I never got anything back.
How have you guys stayed in touch during COVID?
FaceTime.
And Megan writes you letters and sends you cards, and you don't write her back.
I know. I don't know how to. I mean, I don't even know the zip code.
Once we started our video chats, it was a lot better. Like that first video chat, Leanne was ecstatic to see me. So that's one thing I'm very grateful that Big Brothers Big Sisters is doing and letting us continue doing the virtual calls and stuff.
Megan, she's really fun to talk to. She's really fun to hang out. She's very creative.
She's a very outgoing person. So it's even in those, everyone's like, oh, do you get the silence, the awkward silence? And it's never it'll last for 2 seconds. And then she's like, oh, I have to tell you something. Or, oh, I did this today. Or, oh my goodness, I saw this today. And it's just she's just so never a dull moment.
I want to be a fashion designer. Make clothes and purses and jewelry and shoes. Leanne's fashion store. I want to do one kind of like with red alligator skin, kind of. And it's one of those like square short purses. And I want like that middle like kind of square. And then that's how you like close it.
Just outgoing, and like I feel like honestly she makes me a better person, a better listener, and I just love her to pieces. Oh, at first I was real leery of doing Big Brothers Big Sisters. I was like, oh man, like I don't want to be in charge of like a small child, like that's kind of stressful. But then I got to thinking, I'm one of 5 kids, so I'm smack dab in the middle. So I have an older sister, older brother, and 2 little sisters. My youngest sister will be 19. So I was like, okay, well, I've kind of done my guidance for all I can do, or all that she'll listen to. So it's like, I was like, Big Brothers will be really good. Like, I want to be there for somebody else and mentor them, because it's like, man, I had a big family, so I had all types of mentors. And I would get so excited come Wednesday. I'm like, man, I get to see Leanne today. I get to see her today. And it just like I said, I would sit and listen to everything she had to say and what was going on in her life and all this other stuff. And after I left, I was just like, that was great. Even if I didn't get 2 words in, it was a great hour of seeing her. So it's like, I loved it. And I saw her for the first time last night doing that campaign thing, and she just ran up and hugged me. She's like, Megan, I miss you. I was like, I miss you too. So she's like, it has been so long. I was like, I know. So I love it.
I love that. And that's what we're talking about on this, is with the campaign. COVID has hit us hard. We've lost a lot of donations. So it's been a struggle for us. Talk about why you think keeping Big Brothers Big Sisters in Siloam Springs is so important.
Oh, man. I think it is an extremely important to keep Big Brothers Big Sisters in Siloam Springs, because it's like, not being able to see Leanne would literally shatter my world. And it's like, I know she's my little sister, not by blood, but through this program she is. And it's just like, COVID has really taken a turn on this. And I know there's so many littles out there that are being like on the waiting list to be matched. So it's like, if we could do anything and everything to do that fundraiser.
Her and Megan have a real good time together talking and stuff like that. They play games. They have like scavenger hunts and things like that. So over the phone, I mean, and I think they enjoy that a lot. I know Leanne does. I can hear it on my end. You know, she's just running through the house and laughing. And so Leanne, she really looks forward to the phone calls each week. And like, she's always wanting to get together with Megan and, you know, things like that. She really likes Megan. I really like Megan. I trust her. And that's a big thing for me. It's so hard to trust people nowadays, you know, and I feel really comfortable with her. I don't worry about when they're on the phone or anything like that. I mean, Leanne, she goes off and just talks to her and does her thing. I think she's a really good girl. She's got a good spirit about her. So
normally I go downstairs and talk with her, either at our table or downstairs, which is my craft table, or on the couch, because we have a couch down there.
And she's come up with scavenger hunts for you. That's really neat.
Yeah, they've done some scavenger hunts. She suggested baking. I said, well, I'll probably be the one to do the baking. So.
No, I know how to put it in the oven and stuff.
I feel like there are so many just kids out there that don't really have like the siblings, or they have step siblings or siblings that are way older, that they just like, it's just them and their parents. And I know sometimes after long days, parents just don't want to talk to their kids. They're like, okay, we're going to get you outside. I'm going to stay inside. So it's like, I feel like, in all honesty, I feel like every young child, young adult, doesn't matter how old you are, they need a mentor in their life.
Joining me now is Siloam Springs Program Manager, Caitlin Coon. Caitlin, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Very welcome. Let's talk a little bit about Siloam Springs Program. How many kids do we currently serve in Siloam Springs?
Currently, we have 33 matches with one pending match, so we'll be at 34. Super excited to kind of start bouncing back from COVID. kind of been a slow few months, but that's okay. We've been serving our kiddos, so that's what matters.
And how many more are on the wait list?
28.
20. So, I mean, just to get them matched, that the Siloam Springs program will basically double.
Yep, Siloam Springs program would double. We'd be able to serve, I think, at least 15 little boys, which is what we mainly have, which is super exciting. And of course, our little girls that are waiting deserve it too. So,
absolutely. So let's talk about COVID. There's been a lot of changes with that. We've helped families make connections to resources, help them stay afloat during this time. Talk about the work that you've done with site-based families so the littles can stay in touch with their bigs.
Yeah, so our site-based families, we, of course, have reached out to every single parent to say, hey, how are you doing? Do you need any resources? Can we connect you with anything? And everybody's been doing pretty good as well as possible. Some of our site-based matches have written a ton of letters to their littles, which has been so encouraging to see. When they color a picture or send a little thank you bracelet or something like that in the mail, that's been awesome. One of our site-based matches, the big and little, decided, hey, we don't really want to wait till the fall to keep seeing each other, so we're going to agree to do a technology-based, site-based program. So they've met every Wednesday for 1 hour and have gotten to get to know each other a little better because they were a newer match right before COVID hit. So that's been really exciting to see them grow together, and they both, little and big, have a ton of great things to say about each other, and it's been great to see our parent involved in that match. So,
yeah, the parents have been integral in this.
Yeah.
What changes do you see in the program going forward?
I foresee across the board, as a national agency, affiliates, all of us, we're all learning how to do technology-based mentoring. That was a totally new thing for a lot of us, and just incorporating technology into our mentoring. We knew it was out there. We knew we could do it. We just never had done it, and now we've had to do it, which has been awesome. I see our need for mentors continuing to grow. Even though it doesn't seem like it, we've all experienced some sort of trauma from COVID. So allowing for our bigs to grieve, our littles to grieve from the things they lost that they may never get back, from a prom to a graduation to a family member or something like that. So just knowing that our littles need this more than ever, but so do our bigs, because it's not just the littles that get the impact. It's the bigs and the parents too.
Absolutely. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said these kids have big hurts. And that really resonated with me, because we've all had changes. It's been hard on all of us, but I think especially our littles, family members have lost jobs, family members have been hospitalized, and, you know, missing out on things like a summer camp or 5th grade graduation, slumber parties, all those things, they add up, and it's hard for the kids. With COVID, we're expecting a 40% decrease in funds, and that's really going to hurt us as well. If we can't make that money up, what's going to happen in Siloam?
We will, of course, continue to serve the littles to the best of our capabilities, but one of the things that we do with that funding is we give our littles and parents and bigs opportunities that they may not always get to have. We give them what we call reach events, or monthly events that they can come hang out with us. They can hang out with other littles. They can get to have as much pizza as they want, or whatever we're serving. So they're going to miss out on that, which is truly heartbreaking. Of course, we're working to find free events as quick as possible, and as fast as everybody is getting okay with hanging out with others and trusting of our friends that are around us, because we have lost that trust to a certain extent. But getting to take the kids to the safari, and getting to take them to do craft nights or hang out at a local food place or the bowling alley or different things like that. Unfortunately, that's been cut from our budget just because we've got to make our ends meet. But we will continue, as always to serve our littles, but we do estimate that it costs $1,000 per match per year. So that is a huge hit. And the more funding we actually get, the more matches that we can serve and can serve to the fullest of our ability, COVID or not. But it definitely has been hard. We are making as many sacrifices as we can, but we're still working to keep our programming to the best possible programming possible.
I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to child safety, and that's not something you can cut on a budget, right? So all the extras have to go, but our job is to support littles, support bigs, and make sure that it's a safe and healthy mentoring relationship. And I think that's why we are more trusted than many other mentoring organizations, because we have that history, we have evidence-based mentoring, we put the resources into making sure that it's safe, that we're supporting these families and supporting these bigs, and that's not something we can cut the budget on.
Yeah, we have to, even though we've been working from home and we know that some kids do better in person, we still have to talk to them. We still need to check in to say, hey, how are things going? Which it's been okay for our relationship development, because we've got some littles that actually remember us and then spend 45 minutes talking to us during match support phone calls, telling us all about their life in quarantine. And then you've got the littles that just, you only got to see a couple times before COVID, and they're like, who are you?
Why are you calling?
Yeah. So our kids thrive on those social skills. They are developing those social skills with their bigs and with us and with their friends. And so just trying to fill in with that as much as possible, but also getting them to trust us and just let them know that we're a friend and we're here. And our number one safety, of course, is our number one priority is always safety for everybody involved. Child safety is number one, but we also want our volunteers and our parents to be safe. And that's why we've worked really hard to connect them with resources in the community, to whether it's just getting food, a food box from a local pantry, or helping with bills during this time because they're laid off or they've been furloughed. So
perfect. Caitlin, thank you for talking to me today. I'm really hoping we're able to raise the full $12,000 in the Siloam Stronger Together campaign, because I know it's going to go and really help kids in our community.
Definitely. And I'm super proud to be a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northwest Arkansas, because any money we do raise in Siloam actually gets to stay in Siloam. So it gets to go to helping Siloam specific and Gentry, because we're working on going into Gentry, but it gets to stay in our area and help our kiddos here. So that's really important to me.
Thank you for joining me for our Siloam Springs Stronger Together campaign. We appreciate you listening to this podcast. If you feel moved to donate, we would really appreciate your support. You can donate by going online to BBBSNWA.org/donate, or you can text the word Siloam to 44321. A reminder, we are posting 2 podcasts every month. You can follow our journey on our YouTube page or Facebook page, or on our website, BBBSNWA.org. In the meantime, if you have a story about Big Brothers Big Sisters that you'd like to share with us, we want to hear how mentoring has impacted your life. Give us a call at 479-966-4366, or email us at enrollment@bbbsnwa.org.